Hey, what you say, food family? Mike here, and welcome back to the channel for another great culinary adventure. Today we're going to be tackling one of the basics of barbecue, pulled pork. We're going to coat a pork butt in a sweet and spicy dry rub, smoke it low and slow until it pulls apart easily, and then we'll be eating good. If that sounds good to you, stick around and I'll show you how it's done. Let's get cooking. Alright folks, you can see here in front of me today I'm working with an 8-pound bone-in Boston butt. One thing I like to do before we get started is to address a common misconception when it comes to the butt and the shoulder of a pig. The butt and the shoulder are actually two different cuts of meat. The butt is sitting on top of the shoulder, whereas the shoulder is more the front going towards the leg itself. That means it's a little bit leaner and can dry out on you. That butt's sitting up top and ain't getting used very much. It's got a little more extra muscular fat in there. It just stays more juicy and tender. So that being said, they both work fine for smoking a pork shoulder, pork butt, making pulled pork. I just prefer the Boston butt. Now that being said, let's get this thing rubbed up. Today I'm going to be using my Grub Sweet Heat Dry Rub. You can use whatever you like. There's a lot of great products out there. Find one you like, stick with it, or experiment and make your own. It's just the way to go. All right, let's get this thing rubbed. Folks, you just saw in that close-up, we got our Boston butt coated with that dry rub on all sides. A nice thick coat. It's ready for the smoker. We could take it out there right now, but one thing I like to do is cover this up and let it refrigerate overnight. Give those salts and seasonings in that dry rub time to penetrate the meat and really start to flavor things up. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this thing up, throw it in the fridge, and we'll see you early in the morning. Alright folks, welcome back. It is dark 30 the next morning. Too early to be alive, but for good barbecue we got to make some sacrifices. That being said, I got my pork butt out of the refrigerator. It is ready to go outside and we can get that smoke rolling. Alright folks, you can see here I got my standard set up. I got that pork butt in the middle of the smoker with two temperature probes, one monitoring the internal temperature and a second monitoring the temperature of the smoker itself. Beneath that I'm running a tray of apple juice and water, and of course my generic competition blend of pellets. It's a good mixture of woods, gives a great flavor. Other than that, we're going to let this thing smoke for about an hour and a half to 2 hours per pound till the internal temperature reaches between 195 and 205 degrees. We'll just have to check when it gets in that area and see when it's finished and ready to be pulled. Alright folks, believe it or not, this pork butt took 20 hours to get up to temperature, that upper 190s range. I didn't think it was going to take that long, but good barbecue takes time. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. But anyway, that being said, I pulled it out of the smoker when I got up to that 197, 198 degree range. And I just brought it inside and I covered it loosely with aluminum foil and let it rest for about 30, 45 minutes, up to an hour, just to let those juices redistribute back within the fibers of the meat. Other than that, you saw in the previous clip there, I shredded it. This pork shoulder blade came out like butter, just pulled right out of the meat, so you know it's perfectly done at that point. And I went ahead and shredded it. Now, one thing I like to do after I shred my pork is to go back, and And we got that rub we started with, right? We're going to add just a little bit more to our meat, just to fortify those flavors one last time. You don't need a ton. Just get that mixed in there. And what that ultimately means is it's time for the ultimate taste test. So let's see how we did. I'm going to start with a piece of the bark. Grab a little piece here. It's salty, sweet, all those flavors I have in that grub, sweet heat pork rub. It's just so good, I don't know how to describe it. So that being said, make sure you find a good rub you really like to use because you're going to get a lot of those flavors. Now, that's just the bark. You want to, when you do shred your meat, make sure you get that bark mixed in with all the rest of the meat because you want that extra crunchiness in there with the regular meat, especially for making sandwiches and whatnot. Now, that being said, let's try a piece of the meat. So juicy, so tender. Even cooking for 20 hours at 225 degrees, this thing is just full of juice and moisture. I cannot believe it. If you like what I made here today, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Tell me how I did, or if you have any other future content ideas for me to film for you. That being said, Mike here signing off, and until next time, folks, just keep cooking.